shift our focus to something else that was fairly shocking. This is regarding one of India's fastest growing airlines. It was rated best on time performer multiple times. Now it's on the verge of shutting down its operations because of a crash crunch. This is the story of Go First. The airline has cancelled all its flights for the coming 2 days, which means tomorrow and day after. They have been issued a show cause notice by India's aviation watchdog, the DGCa. The DGCa is saying that you cannot have passengers pay for your failure. Reacting to the development, Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia is saying the airline has been facing critical supply chain issues with regards to their engines. He further emphasized that the government is doing all it can to support airlines, adding that Go First must provide alternate travel arrangements for its passengers so that inconvenience is minimal to them. All of this is coming after Go First filed for bankruptcy today, saying it has grounded 50 of its planes because of a financial crunch. Let me go straight across to Saurabh Sinha, who is a senior editor at the Times of India, he's someone who tracks aviation very closely for India's largest newspaper. Saurabh, thank you very much. You know, there are many people who are looking at this news saying, how can Go First go bust? This is a time which is particularly, one would think, particularly good for the aviation sector. Look at how jam-packed our airports are. Look at how much we are paying for tickets post the pandemic. This is a good time for airlines. Then why is this airline shutting up? Why is it saying, I don't have the money, I cannot operate my flights tomorrow and day after?
Good evening, Shreya. It's a culmination of several things. The fact is that about 50% of the Airbus fleet is grounded due to Pratt& Whitney's inability to give engines on time. However, let's see the things in perspectives. Go Air started flying in November 2005, a good 9 or 10 months before Indigo. Today, it has a fleet of 61 aircraft, and the expansion has started only in the last 5-6 years. Before that, it remained small. So, Indigo, on the other hand, which started in August 2006, has 310 planes, over 310 planes. So, Go Air has not really grown ever since it started flying in 2005. There's been a change of management during these 16, 17 years that Go Air has been flying constantly. So, these issues were building up. The pandemic and the grounding of the A320 planes due to Pratt & Whitney's inability, again caused by the pandemic and the Ukraine war supply chain issues, has led to a situation where Go Air is saying it has lost about 11,000 crores due to the grounding in terms of lost revenue and the expenses incurred on these planes, of which 1,600 crore is for the lease rentals paid for the grounded planes which were not flying. It has sought compensation from Pratt & Whitney. I don't know if that has come or not. Go Air has not spoken about that. It has sought 8,000 crores from Pratt & Whitney. So the thing is that there were a number of issues that have been building up, which has led to this unfortunate thing of Go Air knocking at the doors of NCLT today.
Okay, then very quickly, what happens to passengers who are booked on Go First? Now, the airline is saying we can't operate tomorrow, we can't operate day after. Will they be compensated, or is that money gone?
The DGCA has asked Go Air to reply within 24 hours what are its plans to resume operations from May 5. How many flights are they going to operate? Under the summer schedule, they are supposed to operate about 1,600 weekly flights. So that reply from Go Air is very crucial about their operations post May 5. If adequate number of flights post May 5, and in that case they can accommodate the passengers. Otherwise, we don't know. Although both the DGCA has issued them a show cause notice, and the Mr. Scindia has categorically said that it's incumbent upon the airline to make arrangements for affected passengers. But that all depends on how much is the airline flying from May 5, and whether it can take care of those who have already booked on its flights in addition to those who are stranded. Go Air flew almost 9 lakh passengers in March, which means an average of 30,000 passengers daily. So the disruption over the next 2 days means about 60,000 passengers getting affected. Average. This is not like a ballpoint figure, but this is an average. The 60,000 passengers getting affected over the next few days. Let's see what their schedule looks like from May 5 and whether they can take care of all these passengers. And let's also not think about these passengers in future. If it curtails the schedule further, then all the airlines, this, as you rightly pointed out, it's a bumper travel season. The summer peak travel season has begun. All the airlines are reporting over 90% occupancies. Let's not Sunday we saw the highest ever domestic passengers at 4.56 lakhs this Sunday. And so all the airlines are jam packed. It's not that other airlines have too many unsold seats. At an average of 92-93%, the airlines have only 7 or 8% seats which are remaining. So there's not too much scope for other airlines to accommodate these passengers. And if these passengers now suddenly go and make last minute reservations on those bookings, they'll get the highest spot fares. And anyway, fares are very, very high at this point of
Sure.
time. So a passenger inconvenience, let's see how Go Air handles it. We can only keep our fingers crossed they're able to do
Okay.
something about it.
Okay, Saurabh, thank you very much for joining us, and good to get your perspective on the story as well. So, Go First has declared bankruptcy. What happens to its passengers, people who are already booked on their flights for the next 2 days? Go First isn't going to be flying, flying any planes. Their entire fleet is grounded, which means about 60,000 passengers impacted. Uh, what happens from May 5th onwards is another question. We don't have answers to that question. But Saurabh, thank you very much for joining us and giving us that perspective. It was important on a story that is only just developing this evening. On the on the show right now, I'm slipping into a very quick break. But the other story is the big political bombshell that Sharad Pawar has dropped today. He's announced his retirement. His party is insisting he take back that retirement, that entire drama playing out this evening. We are getting you all of that in just a bit. Do stay with us.